Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody to our program this evening. Welcome, guys. It's been a lot of fun today, all over the place, literally. The fires are continuing in northern South Carolina and over in Polk County, North Carolina. The firefighters seem to be getting a handle on some of this, and hopefully we'll have some good news. I believe some of the evacuation areas are changing, and some people are being allowed to go back into their homes. That's the good news. That's the good news. Now, we continue to have earthquakes all over the place. We're going to be talking about earthquakes in just a second. I first want to talk about something that has happened here in our nation and around the world. This gentleman right here. How many recognize this gentleman right here? How many people would recognize this as a man named Johnny Mathis? Johnny Mathis is a world-renowned crooner, singer here in the United States and all over the world. He lives here in the United States. Legendary singer Johnny Mathis is officially stepping down away from the stage starting in May. The 89-year-old man is now nearly 90 years old this year. He's announced his retirement from touring and live concerts due to his age and declining health. It's with sincere regret that due to Mr. Mathis's age and memory issues, which have accelerated, we are announcing his retirement from touring and live concerts. He just got through a concert series a short time ago. The sudden news comes on the heels of Mathis preparing to celebrate his 90th birthday this year. After a career spanning on the heels of years, more than 7 decades of singing, Mathis has finally made the difficult decision to cancel upcoming performances, marking the end of his long and storied presence on the road. While there are still some exciting concerts coming up regrettably, all Johnny Mathis concerts from June 25 through the rest of this year are now canceled. Unfortunately, Mathis is scheduled to perform for the remainder of his 2025 Voice of Romance tour, with the final concert scheduled for May 18th in Englewood, New Jersey at the Bergen Performing Arts Center. Johnny Mathis and his entire staff send their heartfelt gratitude to all Mathis fans worldwide for your continued love and support of his music. It's truly been wonderful, wonderful. After a show at Mystic Lake Casino in Minnesota earlier this month, his fans were in awe over his performance, with one man writing on social media, "My favorite all-time romance singer ever, at the fine age of 89. Mr. Mathis is amazing and is still singing beautifully, never disappoints, and thanks for your continued work and music contribution," according to one other fan. Mathis's classic songs such as Wonderful, Wonderful, and It's Not For Me to Say climbed up to the Billboard charts in the 50s, followed by a single that I remember, Chances Are, which became his number one hit. Mathis has received 5 Grammy nominations, with his first single Misty in 1960. He's been inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame 3 times. Incredible. What an outstanding performer Johnny Mathis is. I remember hearing him time and time again throughout my life, and I pay tribute to him right now. Thanks, Johnny Mathis, for a wonderful career and wonderful music that has inspired millions and millions of people throughout the years. We appreciate that. God bless you, brother. God bless you. Johnny Mathis, 89, turning 90 years old this year. Due to declining health and his age, he's retiring from music starting May 18th this year. Incredible. Totally incredible. Now I want to talk about the storm in the Pacific Northwest. Incredible as well. This Pacific Northwest storm pounded with hurricane force winds starting last weekend. Flooding rain from powerful atmospheric river storms coming out of the Gulf of Alaska. Those of us who follow weather know that thunderstorms need three primary ingredients. Moisture, unstable air, and lift. Moisture, unstable air, and lift. Yesterday, we got that in western Washington and western Oregon. They got hit with lots of rain and muggy air moisture. After March's temperatures were above average, cracking the 70-degree mark. Much cooler air is part of the offshore upper level low. Okay, there's an upper level low, like I said, coming down out of the Gulf of Alaska. This makes it easy for the warm, moist air to rise, creating clouds and storms. Adding to all this, 3 thunderstorms ingredients were able to make the recipe for active thunderstorm episode late yesterday evening. Holly and Crystal, hush! Sorry guys, the Tyler clan is barking up the yin-yang out here. I don't know why, but they're barking. Incredible. Anyway, they had thunderstorm after thunderstorm last night, and some of that weather is still continuing today. There's plenty of lightning, heavy rainfall, and downpours. When the phrase comes up, when thunder roars, go indoors, applies here. When thunder roars, go indoors. You don't want to be caught outside in a lightning storm. You don't want to be caught with lightning hitting the ground around you. It's happened to me before. When thunder roars, go indoors. Okay? I want to keep saying that over and over again. There's not been a lot of lightning yet that's led to fatalities in Washington since 1996. There's not been a lot of lightning fatality in Washington State since 1996. I am hoping that continues throughout this year here in Washington and around this country and around the world. Now with all this rain, highways and roadways become very slippery. If you get a lot of water on the roadway, it can float a car. Okay? If travel is essential during these wet weather storms, be aware, heavy downpours can result in lots of water on roadways and even local flash flooding. Strong damaging winds blew down trees and created local power outages as well. Okay? It's crazy. It's crazy. This is going to happen because this is springtime. This is springtime. This is going to happen across this country this spring and into the summer. All summer. Please be careful. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Now, according to Snohomish Regional Fire and Rescue, a tree fell onto a vehicle, trapping the driver inside. First responders were able to safely remove that driver from the vehicle. He got lucky. By the end of this week, tomorrow, the severe weather forecast, hopefully the threat will be over. The upper level low is expected to remain off the coast and send cooler temperatures, cooler conditions onshore with frequent showers today through Friday, tomorrow, before tapering off this weekend. High temperatures are going to cool back down into the 50s. Remember again, last week was up into the upper 70s. Now temperatures are going to cool down into the 50s. The cooler air that's involved with the offshore upper level low, that's forecast to drop snow levels down to around 4,000 feet today and down to 3,000 feet tomorrow. Yesterday's weather pattern is one to pay a great deal of attention to. Given how rarely it occurs in Washington State, or even Oregon, anytime conditions like this happen, keep an eye on the sky. Be prepared to take action in case threatening weather appears. Take action in case threatening weather appears. What does that mean? That means, one, gather everything that's on the lawn or green grass around you and bring it indoors, because there may be violent winds accompanying the storm. These violent winds can pick up the toys, pick up the lawn furniture, and toss it through plate glass windows and into walls. Bring it indoors where it's not going to do that. Then stay away from windows. Go indoors and stay away from windows. That's the best place to be. Be careful. Be careful. Again, if you have to go outdoors and drive, be safe out there. You don't want to be caught on the road with a lot of weather happening. It only takes about 6 inches to float a car, and it takes about 12 inches to knock someone off their feet where they can be swept downstream. Be very attentive to your driving. If there is water going across the roadway, do not cross it. If water is going across the roadway, do not cross it. Now, this storm the Pacific Northwest just got through having, it's going to continue for a short period of time this weekend. Then that storm is going to move throughout the entire United States, primarily in the upper northern tier of the U.S. Then it's going to cross over the Atlantic into Europe. Okay, this storm is not just one. It's many storms. And there's other storms throughout the world just like it. Please be careful out there. Please be careful. Okay? I'm just putting the warning out there. Please be careful. These storms are going to continue. I guarantee it. Okay? I guarantee it. Does anybody have any questions about these storms? Any questions? These storms are very mean. Okay? Now, I thought I had a picture of the cloud cover here, and I guess I don't. Darn it. Darn it. Okay. The second thing I want to talk about is cloud cover. Actually, the third thing. Or not cloud cover, it's a sunspot. Okay? Notice this sunspot on the lower third of the sun. It's Earth facing. What happens when we get one of these large sunspots? It doesn't even have to be this large. What happens? Can anybody tell me what happens when we get sunspots like this? These sunspots tend to generate great big huge offshoots from the sun, don't they? Solar flares. These solar flares launch from the sun. They head out into the solar system. They head out over towards the Earth in this case. This is Earth facing. Great big huge clouds, space clouds of plasma race out. Plasma radiation. When that happens, the plasma radiation reaches out and hits Earth. Some of this plasma radiation may take as little as 2 days to hit the Earth. The X-ray radiation hits the Earth almost immediately. The plasma radiation goes behind it anywhere from 2-3 days later and hits the Earth. What happens? The plasma radiation hits the Earth's magnetosphere to help shield the Earth. But right now the magnetosphere is very weak and allows that plasma radiation to the Earth, doesn't it? Through our atmosphere, heating up our atmosphere. It also hits the surface of the Earth. Goes down and heats up the core of the Earth as well. What happens? What happens? We get earthquakes, don't we? We get earthquakes. This plasma radiation heats up the biological material, the sand and gravel and other things that hold the plates and the earthquake faults in place. When this heats up, it turns that frictionless substance into oily, greasy substance, allowing the plates to more freely move, just like this. When that happens, we get earthquakes, both on the faults and on the plates. That's what we're thinking is going to happen now. So far, some of this solar sunspots has created solar flares. Some of these sunspots have already created solar flares, and as a result, that plasma radiation is headed out to the Earth as we speak. We need to be aware of it, because plasma radiation not just creates earthquakes. It can affect all living things, plants and animals. It affects us psychologically. It affects our brains. It affects the way our bodies move. It affects everything. So be careful. Be careful. Don Patukas is biological material, humans. Absolutely right. Need to be careful out there. We will keep you informed when we have a heavy-duty solar flare. When that happens, we will tell you about it, so you can take precautions. If a solar flare hits, the best place for you to be is indoors. Indoors. If you have to be outside, wear a heavy-duty hat to help protect your head. Wear long sleeves. Wear long sleeves. That solar radiation, if it's powerful enough, can also cause burning on the skin. We already get sunburn. But that increased solar radiation can also cause increased possibility of more sunburn than we normally have. Cover your body with good thick shirts, dresses, and pants. Please be safe out there. Cover your heads with a good hat to protect your head. Okay? I'm just putting this out there for now. You see this large solar flare right there on the terminator of the sun. We're already getting it. We're already getting these solar flares. We don't see much of it from the face of the sun, but we're already getting solar flares. This sunspot right at the bottom of the sun right here, that is what we have to keep a close eye on, and we're doing that right now. I want to show you this because this is the first largest solar flare that's the largest we've ever seen. Or not solar flare, sunspot. This is the largest sunspot that we've seen in a very long time. Okay? This is serious. This is serious. Okay? Any questions about it? Mamaru, welcome to the channel again. We appreciate you being here. Mamaru is Surgery's friend that used to live near him. Surgery told Mamaru about us, and she's been a friend of our channel ever since. We appreciate Mamaru being with us. Anyway, Ruthie B says plasma hits Earth, radiation underground as well. Yes. Heats up the center of the Earth. Heats up the plates. Heats up the earthquake faults, causing bigger earthquakes. That's already happened today. Now, we haven't had any very strong or major quakes today. However, we have had some earthquakes. Let's go and take a look at that right now before we go and take a look at the earthquakes in the Pacific Northwest. That's where we're ultimately going with this program tonight. We're going to be talking about the earthquakes in the Pacific Northwest in just a minute here. Look at the earthquakes here. We just got through having a large earthquake in Kazakhstan and Afghanistan. Let's go take a look at that right now. This just happened. This is a large earthquake here. It's a 5.2 earthquake. It was a large earthquake, but they downgraded it. They downgraded it as they always do. Okay, but this just happened. This is Kazakhstan. Further south here, this is Afghanistan. This is also a large 5.0 earthquake. They downgraded this to a 4.9 here. Let's go further out here into the Pacific. Okay? Japan. Good old Japan here. Guess what? Earthquake time. Earthquake time right here. This is a 4.6 earthquake. This is a 4.6 earthquake here. Okay? This is the East Kura Islands north of Japan. Right between Japan and Kamchatka Peninsula. These Kuril Islands belong to Russia. This earthquake hit out here in the Kuril Island region. It did not hit an island at all. It hit out in the Pacific, and even though it's a 4.6, the seismic energy was absorbed by the seawater of the Pacific Ocean. Over here in the Kuril Islands also, this is a 4.1 earthquake here. This is a medium depth earthquake, 325 kilometers deep. 325 kilometers deep. This is not a deep quake. This is a medium deep quake. Okay? Let's go south to Japan here. Right here. This is a 4.6 earthquake off the eastern coast of Honshu. Off the eastern coast of Honshu, Japan, right here. Okay? Folks, this may have been felt by some people over here near Otaki, Japan. This is a 4.6 moderate earthquake. 52 kilometers deep. So this is a fairly shallow quake. Shallow quakes are felt more than deeper quakes. Shallow quakes are felt more than deeper quakes. Fortunately for people here, look where it hit. Right out here in the farmer fields. Yes, there's some people living here. They felt it. They felt this quake. Now in this particular case, okay, with moderate quakes, dishes and glasses on shelves vibrate very hard. Sometimes we can have plates and glasses break. Books and knickknacks fall off shelves. Sometimes with a moderate quake, we get photographs or wall hangings falling off the walls. Rarely do we ever get anything larger than that. A 5.0 to 5.9 can cause cracks in walls, and we can cause houses to move on their foundation, cause roofs to fall down. Greater damage with a large earthquake. A lot greater damage with a large earthquake here. Fortunately, that didn't happen. This is a moderate earthquake. It was a very shallow earthquake at that. Okay? Western Japan, or Eastern Japan here. Let's go south. Okay? The Philippines, guys. Mindanao, Philippines here. Eastern Philippines, northeastern Philippines. We have had earthquakes here in the past. This is ongoing. Again, this is a moderate 4.6 earthquake. This happened earlier this morning. About 10:10 this morning Eastern Time. This is also a 4.6 earthquake. This is also 76 kilometers deep. Still a fairly shallow quake. Further, down here in the southeast, this is in the Pacific Ocean here. This is a 4.5 earthquake here near Boban, Philippines. Offshore. The ocean waters absorbed the shockwaves of this quake. They got lucky. Charlene saying here in the chat, the shallower the earthquake, the larger magnitude and greater the surface energy spread. That's pretty much true, but not necessarily the larger magnitude. Yes, we do tend to have larger magnitude quakes anytime, whether it's deep or shallow. Larger quakes can happen. But when we have larger quakes, the earthquake will be felt over longer distances, larger distances, depending on the bedrock. And the larger the quake, the more damage there's going to be. Okay? That's with a shallow quake. A deeper quake, yes, there's going to be damage, but probably not as much as a shallower quake. But this happened out in the ocean off the coast of Mindanao, Philippines here. Down here in Indonesia. Notice they're not showing much of anything here in Indonesia. That's pretty typical. because USGS does not want to take responsibility for anything. Literally nothing. Over here, this has been Tumi, Indonesia. A 4.6 earthquake hit here. This is 40 kilometers northwest of Batumi, Indonesia. This is also 10 kilometers deep. 10 kilometers deep. Tinny Pearl just gifted 5 EMA memberships. 30-day memberships, one to Dakota Prairie, one to JadePetFinder.com. Lots of animals to adopt. Brandy, Leonard Nimoy. Thank you all for joining our program here. We appreciate it. Lynn also was gifted a 30-day membership. If you've been gifted a membership, please thank Tinny Pearl. We definitely appreciate that, Tinny Pearl. God bless you for that. We will have a early morning, probably 10 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Time membership meeting tomorrow morning. And yes, we're going to be talking about earthquakes and earthquake preparedness, because we're going to have more earthquakes. Again, this earthquake is over on land in Indonesia. It's 10 kilometers deep. Fairly shallow earthquake. It's also 4.6 moderate earthquake. Again, these people don't have the same building standards as we have here in the West. They don't have building standards at all. Okay? These people are very poor in this region. When they have an earthquake, it nearly destroys everything they have. Now, I don't know, it doesn't show any villages anywhere near here. This basically is in the mountainous regions here in Indonesia. But I know there's people that live all over here. Literally all over here in Indonesia. We go south here. This is Tual, Indonesia. We've had earthquakes here before, up to and including 7.0 earthquakes. This is a 4.1 earthquake here. This is 110 kilometers deep. Still a fairly shallow quake. It's out here in the ocean, huh? It's in the Banda Sea. The ocean waters here absorb the shockwaves of this quake. Nobody on land or any island felt these earthquakes at all. At all. We'll go further west here. Cambrian, Papua New Guinea. This is a 5.2 large earthquake. This happened at 3:42 p.m. Eastern Time today. Look where this happened. Let's take a look at where this happened here. Right along the coastline of Papua New Guinea. 45 kilometers east-southeast of Cambrian, Papua New Guinea. Again, this is a large 5.2 earthquake. Yes, there's going to be some damage here. It's close to shore. It's like 20 miles from the shoreline here. If there's anybody living in this area, they will have felt some part of this earthquake. It's very close to shore. They will have felt some part of this earthquake here. Large earthquake. Large earthquakes can do a lot of damage, especially in this area. We go further out to sea here. Look where both of these earthquakes are, on either side of this earthquake fault. This earthquake fault just happens to be a tectonic plate. A tectonic plate. This is also 4.8 moderate earthquake. This is out in the ocean here, 10 kilometers deep. Nobody felt this earthquake. As I've told you, there may be some new people here that don't or haven't seen this program and don't understand depth. Let me take a minute and talk about this. In this particular region of the world here, from Tonga out here to the east, Tonga and Samoa out here to the northeast, and the islands of the Pacific here, down to New Zealand down here to the south, over here to the Legacy Islands right here, further north there into Fiji, or into Vanuatu. Let's go here. This is a 4.8 in the Solomon Islands. This includes the Solomon Islands here. This is also a fairly shallow quake, about 58 kilometers deep. We go further west here. This is a 4.7 also near Auki, AUKI, Solomon Islands. From Tonga Samoa out here to the east, all the way back over here into Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, Australia, going over here into Taiwan and Japan. This area is ripe for earthquakes. There are 7 different tectonic plates moving in this region. 7 different tectonic plates moving in this region. That's bad. Because of all those tectonic plates, that is why we get so many earthquakes here. Now, USGS is not even showing all the earthquakes at all. They really aren't. In Indonesia alone, there are 18 earthquakes in this region. Just in Indonesia alone. And they're not showing but 2. Why not? There's 4 or 5 earthquakes in the Philippines. They're showing 2 there. That's atrocious. It's just wrong. 7 different tectonic plates here, guys. 7 different plates. For those of you that are new to this program, when we have sunspots that fire off solar flares, like I said, it heats up the plates and heats up the earthquake faults. In this case, 7 different tectonic plates, one subducting under the other just like this. One subducting under the other just like this. What happens? We have earthquakes. Most of those earthquakes are large to very large, strong to major earthquakes, causing damage, loss of life. 7 different tectonic plates in this region. That's why we see so many earthquakes here, especially in Indonesia. They're not even showing all of them. 18 earthquakes in Indonesia alone today, and they're only showing 2. Why not? Because they don't want to take responsibility. That's USGS's biggest problem. They don't want to take responsibility. It's insane. It's insane. And when these plates move, they're grinding. Sometimes we have heard people tell us that they've heard the plates move before the earth shakes. They've heard the noise that it creates, the grinding of the plates like this. That happens. It actually happens a lot. Let's go over here at Easter Island region out here in the South Pacific. Today, this area here had a 5.4 earthquake. A 5.4 earthquake hit here. They bounced the magnitude around for quite a while. They ended up with a 5.0 earthquake. This earthquake was larger than that. It was larger than that. USGS plays with magnitudes because they don't want to be honest with anybody, because they don't want to take the responsibility for anybody that might be hurt or killed. That's the truth. They do not want to take responsibility. Sad. Now, my buddy Demon Catman, who's a moderator on this channel, he put up here in the chat, the Pacific Plate is subducting under them. We talked about New Zealand last night. Northern New Zealand. Guess what? The Pacific Plate is going up under the Australian plate just like this. The Pacific Plate is subducting underneath the Australian plate. Down in the south part of New Zealand, thousands of miles away, guess what? The Australian plate is subducting underneath the North American plate, which means between the south of the South Island in New Zealand all the way up to the north part of New Zealand, the plate is twisting. The plates are twisting. North, the Pacific plate is going under the Australian plate. Down south, it's the other way around. The Australian plate is subducting under the Pacific plate. Unreal. That means that we're going to have very strong earthquakes. Very strong, deadly earthquakes in that region. Now, just to emphasize what we see going on, let's go back down here to the North Island of New Zealand. This North Island is called Raoul Island. Okay? Over here on the eastern shores of Raoul Island here, we have something happening here. Within the next 25 years, supposedly within the next 25 years, there's going to be an 8.0 earthquake hit here. It's a subduction earthquake. It's a subduction earthquake. Again, up here at Raoul Island, the Pacific plate is subducting underneath the Australian plate like this. This is a subduction earthquake. Every earthquake that we get here is a subduction earthquake. But in this case, sometime within the next 25 years, there's going to be a major 8.0 earthquake here. And people's lives are going to be lost. People are going to get hurt. Massive damage here near Raoul Island and all over New Zealand. All over New Zealand. The entire plates will move down here. When that 8.0 hits off the north shore of New Zealand here, this entire region will feel it. The seismic energy will echo all the way down south as well. Okay, why is that? Zoom in here. Look where the earthquake fault is, where the tectonic plate is. The Pacific plate and the Australian plate right here offshore of the North Island here. Guess what happens? As the Pacific plate and the Australian plate go further south here, the whole situation moves here. This is where there's a twisting. This is where the twisting occurs up here on the north part of the South Island. Okay, for down south here, way down south here of the South Island here, the plate changes here. The Australian plate is subducting underneath the North American plate down here. So the twisting change is up here on the north part of the South Island. Okay? Marianne Dewar of Knots says, I wonder if a subduction event caused Atlantis to sink. That's a very good question. My first thought is yes, that may have been what happened. A subduction event. The entire plate moves and goes underneath a plate. That makes sense. Because scientists have been down in submarines and have seen ancient people's ruins down there at the bottom of the ocean. So that's what I believe as well. Shalene Mayo says it will take the land under. You're right. That's it. That's it. It's going to happen. This is going to happen. Scientists say it's going to happen within the next 25 years, and given the earthquakes here, it could be longer than that. The earthquakes we're seeing here are probably no more than 2.4, 2.5 most of the time. However, off the north shore is Gisborne, Australia, or Gisborne, New Zealand here. Off the north shore of Gisborne, New Zealand, we've had 6.4 earthquakes here, right here, right on top of the plate. Right on top of the plate here. We've had 5.0 earthquakes, 4.5 earthquakes here. Right now, all we get are 2.4, 2.5, 3.0, 3.5 type earthquakes. But that's going to change in the future. That is going to change in the future. It's bound to change. And again, we're not showing any earthquakes here today. Why not? Because again, USBS does not want to take responsibility for anything that happens here. There are earthquakes here on the North Island, north of the North Island, and down here in the South Island and south of the South Island down here. Most assuredly. We just got through having a 7.2 earthquake south of the South Island down here. That's going to cause a lot of aftershocks. And again, USBS does not want to show them. Why not? Yes, they should be showing them. Ethically, USBS should be showing them. But again, they're not. They should be taking responsibility. But they're not. They're not. They're not showing any earthquakes here in South America. Why not? Just the other day, Tarapaca, Chile, Coquimbo, Chile here in northern Chile. It had a large earthquake here. A very large earthquake. And yet USBS doesn't want to show anything. There are aftershocks here. There are aftershocks here. There's like 15 earthquakes here in northern Chile. And over into Argentina. Over here in central Chile, earthquakes here. Most of these earthquakes in central Chile are small and minor earthquakes. Minor earthquakes 2.5 to 2.7. Small earthquakes 3.5, 3.7. As we go north, they get larger. 4.2, 4.5, 4.7, and even, yes, 4.8 earthquakes. 18 earthquakes here in Chile alone. 18 earthquakes. Peru has another couple. Going up here to Santander, Colombia, there's another 3 earthquakes here. Why aren't they showing them? They should. There are 5 or 6 earthquakes over here in Central America. 5 or 6. We go over here into southern Mexico. 17 earthquakes here in southern Mexico. Why are they not showing them? Why are they not showing them? We've had 6 moderate earthquakes here in southern Mexico today. 6 moderate earthquakes here in southern Mexico today. Why are they not showing them? There's a massive number of 3.0 to 3.9 earthquakes here. Why are they not showing them? Why are they not showing them? From southern Mexico down here near Guatemala, all the way up here to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico here. Why are they not showing them? They should be. This seismic energy is flowing north. The seismic energy from down here in southern Mexico is flowing north along the San Andreas Fault. The San Andreas Fault. The San Andreas Fault goes north along the coast of Mexico, going up here into the Gulf of California. The seismic energy flows up here into northern Mexico, right here. Estación Guajula, Baja California, northern Mexico. This is a 3.3 earthquake here. This is a 3.3 earthquake right there. Small earthquake on the San Andreas Fault. On the San Andreas Fault. The seismic energy goes north up here to the border of the U.S. and Mexico here. We're not seeing any earthquakes over here in the Imperial Valley of California, except right here. Right here, guys. Right here. There are earthquakes here. There are over 350 earthquakes here in Imperial Valley. They're not showing them. They are not showing them. Right here, over here in Bombay Beach. This area is notorious for 3.0 to 4.0 earthquakes happening every day. 8 to 10, 3.0 to 4.5 earthquakes happen here every day. And they're not showing them. Dozens of tremors happen here every day. Dozens of minor earthquakes happen here every day. Why are they not showing them? That's right there in Bombay Beach. Over here in Calipatria, there are 50, 70 earthquakes here every day. Not showing them. We've even had some 3.0 earthquakes here in Calipatria. Not showing them. This is where the San Andreas Fault comes out from underneath the Salton Sea here, Calipatria, California. Up until then, the San Andreas Fault flows out of northern California over here along the eastern side of the Salton Sea. When it comes out from underneath the Salton Sea down here in Calipatria, it takes a distinct southwestern turn. Goes down here into Westmoreland, California. We showed you 3.0 earthquakes here earlier this week. 2.5 to 3.0, 3.2 earthquakes here in Westmoreland this week. It's unreal. It's unreal. Then we can go down further south here into the town of Imperial. Yes, there's a town of Imperial in Imperial County. This is the town of Imperial. We showed you a lot of 3.0 earthquakes and minor earthquakes and tremors here in the town of Imperial this week. Why are they not showing them here? These earthquakes happen every day. Okay? This is not just once a week. These earthquakes happen here every day. They're not showing them. Why not? Why not? Let's go further south. I just love showing you this. Down here, this is a town called El Centro, California. The San Andreas Fault is east of here. Yet down here in El Centro, we typically are seeing anywhere from 12 to 18 3.0 and larger earthquakes here in El Centro every day. One of our EMA family members, Juanito, lives down here with his family. And they're telling me every time they're on the program, yes, we are feeling every one of these quakes. The ground is moving here. The ground is moving. Why are they not showing these earthquakes? It's not just anywhere from 8 to 15 to 20 3.0 earthquakes here. There are minor earthquakes and tremors happening here as well. There are probably 100 earthquakes happening here in El Centro. Why are they not showing them? It's happening. USGS should be showing them. Over here is another town. This is Holtville, California, also on the San Andreas Fault. There is a seismograph here in Holtville. It's at the Salton Sea Desert Research Station here. We have 5 to 10 3.0 earthquakes happening here. Minor earthquakes also, and tremors here. Probably 50, 60 earthquakes happen here in Holtville every day. Why are they not talking about it? They're happening. They're definitely happening. Further south, down here at the border area. Now I'm talking about Calexico right here on the north side of the border. And Mexicali further south here. Folks, April 3rd, I'm sorry, not April 3rd, April 10th, Easter Sunday, 2010. We had a 7.1 earthquake here at the border of California and Mexico. This area is called Guadalupe, Victoria, Mexico. That's a province of Mexico. 7.1 earthquake caused massive damage in Mexicali and Calexico. Yes, it caused damage up here into Imperial Valley as well. That earthquake was felt over in Arizona. This earthquake was felt over into San Diego County as well. Well over here to the west. And felt up into Los Angeles. Major 7.1 earthquake. And scientists have said it could have been as much as an 8.0 major quake. As a 7.1 earthquake, it was a major quake. I just happened to be in San Diego that weekend, Easter Sunday, 2010. I was there conducting a disaster drill involving earthquakes in San Diego. It was on a Sunday. Our drill started on a Monday. On Sunday that day, we went real world. We went real world and started our disaster drill earlier because the earthquake happened. And we had to address real world issues early. We had plate glass windows falling out of skyscrapers here in San Diego City, hitting the ground and shattering all over the ground. It's lucky nobody got hurt. Fortunately for many people, the earthquake happened at 7 a.m. in the morning. Nobody was hurt, except people over in Mexicali and Calexico, because they were at the epicenter of the quake. Everybody felt it up in Los Angeles, over in Arizona, all over Southern California. Power was knocked out for a time, was quickly restored, except over in the Imperial Valley, where it took longer. Unreal. Earthquakes like this happen, and they're going to continue to happen. As seismic energy comes out of Mexico up here into Southern California, it's going to happen. We are expecting a 7.0 to 7.5 earthquake here in Southern California almost any time now. Almost any time. Scientists are saying this area of the San Andreas Fault is locked and loaded. This fault could release at a moment's notice. It could release at a moment's notice, and we need to be aware of it. Yes, we're seeing earthquakes here in Southern California. For example, this earthquake right here. This is in northeast, and actually not northeast. This is in eastern San Diego County in a town called Julian, California. We talk about Julian all the time. We talk about Julian all the time. It's a tiny, small country town of San Diego County. Further north, this is the Anza-Borrego Desert area of northeast San Diego County. This is a 1.8 tremor here. All these earthquakes here in the Anza-Borrego Desert here are minor tremors and minor earthquakes. That's all they are. Here, Little Creek, California. Here, Little Creek, California. Little Creek, California. This is a 1.4 tremor here. Tremor. All kinds of earthquakes are all over Los Angeles. They're not telling us about it. Minor earthquakes, small earthquakes, and over here on the eastern side of Los Angeles up here into Loma Linda, Mariloma area, and over into northern Los Angeles up here. We're having 3.0 and 4.0 moderate earthquakes here. I showed this to you on Tuesday. USGS is still not talking about it today. Over here, this is northeast of Malibu, California. This is a 1.5 tremor here. 11.4 kilometers deep. Further north here, this is off the coast of Santa Barbara. 1.8 tremor here. We go further north. This is Atascadero, California. 1.3 tremor. This is a different fault. This is a less well-known fault here. Let me open this up so you can see it. This is the West Hosnia fault. West Hosnia fault. A tremor here. There are no earthquakes on the San Andreas Fault until we just get here south of San Francisco, right here east of Monterey Bay. This is San Juan Bautista, California. This is a 2.1 minor earthquake here on the San Andreas Fault. Over here on the other side of the fault, this is Ridgemark, California. Here we have a 2.0 earthquake on the San Andreas. We go further north. The Hayward Fault comes into being here. The Hayward Fault just continues south until it almost intersects with the San Andreas Fault, just south of California. 1.3 tremor. Further north here, Alum Rock, also in the Calaveras. Just west of there, we have the Hayward Fault right there. The Hayward, the Calaveras, and the San Andreas Fault are three of the most dangerous faults in all of California. And yet, what do we have right here? San Francisco Bay. 1980. We had a 6.9 earthquake here on the Hayward Fault, causing massive damage to San Francisco. Here, right between the Calaveras and the Hayward Fault. This is Fairfield, California. A 1.5 tremor here. The Hayward Fault right here to the north here, just east of San Francisco Bay, is what caused the earth to quake during the 1980 or 1989 World Series baseball game. The beginning game of the World Series. It shook the stadium wildly. People fled onto the field, the baseball field, to get out of the stands because they thought the stands were going to collapse. The stands held, but the rest of San Francisco held their breath. Massive damage and fires here in San Francisco. The San Francisco Bay Bridge went down, with cars and people falling into the bay. People killed. I believe 150 people were killed by that earthquake. Property damage into the billions of dollars. They're still recovering from that earthquake today. Northeast of San Francisco Bay is Suisun City, 1.7 tremor up here. This is northeast of the Calaveras Fault. Up here, we talk about this area here of the geysers. This is a geothermal facility where men have drilled into the upper magma chambers of this volcano here to the north, the Clear Lake volcano. They drilled into the Clear Lake volcano to obtain steam from the volcano to power turbines here in the geysers facility to generate electricity here. The seismic energy comes in off the Pacific Ocean. It hits each one of the drill points here in the geysers area. That's why we get so many earthquakes here. Okay? Charlene is asking a question in the chat. Was not the San Francisco Bridge Stadium City built on one of the Earth's oldest geological plates in the U.S., North America? Yes. That is correct. It's correct. Some parts of San Francisco were built on landfills, including the San Francisco Airport. Crazy. Brokefish N is in the chat, and I appreciate Brokefish for being here. He's one of my closest friends, and we talk occasionally here. He said yesterday was crazy weather from the Douglas County north in Oregon. We talked about the weather earlier in this program. And I see we're having problems with the bandwidth here, and we're not broadcasting now. Okay, we're broadcasting. For a minute, the internet went out, apparently, and we're back on the air here. And yes, Carol, the 1989 earthquake was bad here in San Francisco. Very bad. Charlene says we're coming across fine now. Thank you. Appreciate it. Demon Catman says, I pay hundreds of dollars a month here. Is telling the chat, I pay hundreds of dollars a month to keep this channel going. Please consider giving donations to our PayPal, paypal.me/EMERMGMTASSOC591, paypal.me. Also, our other address at PayPal is rltnspdema@hotmail.com on PayPal. We need your donations. We also have a Venmo account. Ronald-Tyler-17 on Venmo. Carol just gave us a $10 super chat. Thank you, Carol. Thank you very much. God bless you for that. We appreciate it. Anyway, let's go on. I want to go up into Oregon and Washington now. Over here on the southern end of the the Cascade Fault here. This also is an earthquake on the San Andreas. The San Andreas Fault comes out of Northern California right here. Okay? The San Andreas Fault connects with what we call the triple junction right here. The triple junction with the San Andreas, the Cascadia Subduction Zone, and the Gorda Escarpment. Here just south of the San Andreas Fault, we have a 3.0 earthquake here, off the coast of Northern California from Petrolia, California here. A 3.0 earthquake here. This is a tenth of a mile deep. A tenth of a mile deep here in the Southern Cascadia region. The Southern Cascadia earthquake region. Okay? They're not showing any other earthquakes here, which is unreal. Unreal. There are plenty of other earthquakes here. Before we talk about the volcanoes, I'm going to show you a lot of earthquakes here. A ton of earthquakes along the coastline, up here in the Puget Sound area, over here in the Strait of Juan de Fuca here, along the coastline of Washington as well. They're not showing them. Why not? They're showing one lousy earthquake up here in eastern Granite Falls, Washington. They say this is a 1.7 explosion. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at this explosion. Explosion my foot. This is a forested area here. Over here, yes, there is a quarry going on, but this was not a quarry blast. This was not a quarry blast. This is in a forested area. This is a tremor, not a quarry blast, USBS. This is a third of a mile deep. A third of a mile deep. Folks, let me get real here. This is over a mile away from the quarry. This is probably close to a mile and a half away from the quarry. This is not a quarry blast. This was not an explosion. This was a tectonic plate earthquake. This is a tectonic plate earthquake. Okay? Plain and simple. Again, USBS doesn't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about here. 1.7 tremor here. This is at Granite Falls, Washington. They say it's a mile east-northeast of Granite Falls. Interesting. Interesting. Let's take a closer look at it, okay? Granite Falls is right here. That's Granite Falls. This earthquake is over here. There's where the earthquake is. About a mile and a half east of the quarry. And USBS is not showing any other earthquakes down here, except for one tiny one down here. One tiny one down here. This is Parkdale, Oregon. Parkdale, Oregon, guys. 1.0 tremor here. This is almost 2 miles deep. Almost 2 miles deep down here. Okay? Insane. This is really insane. All right, let's go and talk about earthquakes in the Pacific Northwest. Okay? All right, let's do this. Let's take down the USGS map here. Let's go over here to the seismographs. We're looking at the seismographs. The seismographs are a computer printout of what the seismograph is going to show us here. I'm going to start off with a volcano that's on the southern border, the southern border of Canada, northern border of the U.S., Washington State. This is Mount Baker, volcano Mount Baker. Okay? Look what we're showing here. Let me enlarge this seismogram so you can truly see what we're seeing. Okay? Right here. The thicker the lines, the more magma that's coming into the magma chamber. That's the first thing I want to say. If you see a thicker line, that means more magma is coming into the magma chamber of this volcano. Look what happened last night here. Look what happened last night. See that red line here and the vertical line here? The red line on the left is 9:15. So this here is about, I want to say, 9:09 p.m. last night. Folks, this is a 3.3 earthquake. 3.3 earthquake here at Mount Baker. Did they talk about it on the USGS map? Oh, heck no. Heck no. They didn't even show it. After that, over here to the right, about 3 minutes later, there's a tremor. They didn't talk about that either, did they? Nope. Didn't. They're not talking about any of the tremors here at all. Not at all. As I said, the thicker the lines, the more magma coming into the magma chamber. And you're seeing that here at 7 a.m. this morning. 0700 a.m. on the left-hand side. If you see 0700 on the left-hand side, that is 7 a.m. this morning. The red mark just under 3 a.m., that's 3 a.m. this morning. Okay? 7 a.m., 6 a.m., You're seeing thicker lines and thinner lines. The thicker lines, more magma coming into the magma chamber. Thinner lines, less magma coming into the magma chamber. It's called magma pulse signals. Magma pulse signals. And when you see vertical lines off each one of the lines, that is a tremor or an earthquake. A tremor or an earthquake here. That's what's actually going on here. Look at this. Down here this afternoon on the very bottom on the right hand side, we have a 2.0 earthquake. This earthquake happened. Let me enlarge this so you can see the time element involved. That 2.0 earthquake happened at approximately 2:26 this afternoon. 2.0, 2.2 earthquake this afternoon. Are they showing that on the map? Heavens no. Again, they don't want anybody to know what's going on here. That's Mount Baker. That's Mount Baker. Guess what, guys? There's more data than that. Let me show you what actually happened yesterday here at Mount Baker. Look at the earthquakes here at Mount Baker. Disregard the thick red, blue, and black lines here. That's trash. It's called abstract. But down here in the center of this seismogram, that's what we want to look at. Okay? We have earthquakes happening here in Mount Baker. Are they talking about them? Heck no. Heck no, they're not. These earthquakes happened just before 5 a.m. this morning and just after 5:45 this morning. Some of these earthquakes are 3.0 earthquakes, small earthquakes. Some of these earthquakes are 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes as well at Mount Baker. At Mount Baker. Why are they not showing this on the USGS map? They can show Mount Baker on the map. Why are they not showing these earthquakes? Inquiring minds want to know. This is a volcano up at the northern barrier of Washington and Canada. Why are they not showing this earthquake? Or these earthquakes? There's multiple earthquakes here. Multiple earthquakes. 2.8 to 3.0, 3.4. Why are they not showing these earthquakes? Plenty of seismic energy here, caused by magma in the magma chamber of this volcano. Tons of it. Tons of it. Why are we not seeing it? Guess what? Let me prove to you that that happened. Look at this seismogram. See these wavy lines here? The wilder the wavy lines are, the more magma that's coming into the magma chamber of a volcano. In this case, Schuchsen. This is a Schuchsen seismogram on the north side of Mount Baker. Look at this magma here. There is a lot of magma here. It's happening at the same time that the seismogram is showing the earthquakes. The magma inside the volcano caused each and every one of those earthquakes. This is the proof. This is the proof. Okay? They don't have to put up the earthquakes. We're doing that for them. But we're also making them look like stupid idiots. Many times in the past years, the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network and/or USGS would hide the earthquakes. They would hide the seismograms because they don't want us showing you what we're seeing. They don't want us to see what is actually going on. Not at the shoreline and not at the volcanoes. Yes, there's a possibility that Mount Baker could erupt. I don't think it will anytime soon, because I believe Mount Rainier and Mount St. Helens is going to happen. I believe Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier are going to happen before Mount Baker. But there's a possibility because you're seeing the magma here at the Baker volcano here. You've seen it. Let's drop down to Glacier Peak. Look what's happening here at Glacier Peak. The same thing we just got through showing you at Mount Baker. Incredible, huh? Incredible. Why are they not showing it on the USGS map? We want to know. Because this is what's they're showing on the seismogram. Yes, they're showing some earthquake activity, but these are just tremors. Why are they not showing us earthquakes here at Glacier Peak? Because they don't want to. Heaven forbid they show us what is really happening. These are the lies that USGS are not telling us about. They're lying to the public. If they're not admitting to it, they're lying to the public. It's called omission. Omitting information is lying to the public. When I was a federal police officer, if I omitted something from my report, I would have been fired. If I omitted something from one of my reports, I would have been fired. And I would have gone to jail. Why is the management of USGS not taking responsibility? Hopefully with the Doge and everything else that's going on, they might in the future. Because yes, even USBS is going to get audited. USBS is going to get audited. At some point in time, they're going to have to tell the truth. Now let's go over the shoreline of Washington State. I want you to see this. Why do I want you to see this? Guess what? They're not showing you this on the USGS map. This is Fildago Island. Fildago Island here in Washington State. This is up in the northern Puget Sound area. Look what's going on here. Look what's happening. Let's look at this event here that happened last night. You see that big red event that happened here? It happened here just after 9:15 last night. This event happened just after 9:11 p.m. last night. It ended just about 9:13 p.m. last night. They're making it seem like it was longer than that. Okay? But this was an event. Look at the far right side of this event here. On that line here. Okay? That line here to the right is called a secondary wave. This earthquake happened. This earthquake happened. They've cut off the top and the bottom of this seismic event, not letting us see how strong this earthquake was. Guess what? I believe this was a 3.5 earthquake that lasted 2 minutes. Lasted 2 minutes here at Fildago Island. But they're not talking about it, are they? It's not showing on the USGS map. Why not? Why not? What about that earthquake also in red to the right after that? 2 red lines down after that. Okay? That happened after about 9:14 last night. Earthquakes. Earthquakes. Let me pull this over and let's enlarge this so we can see what happened here. Okay? Look at that. Again, they cut off the top and cut off the bottom of that seismic event. Why? Again, this is probably a 3.0 earthquake, small earthquake. We're also seeing the tremors before the earthquake happened. We're seeing the data that happened before that. Again, this earthquake happened. The data supports it. But they're not showing it on the map. There is seismic data here. Seismic data. It did happen. It did happen. Look at all the other tremors here. There's also another earthquake here today. This earthquake happened just after 11:11 this morning. Down here at the bottom of this seismogram. Right here. On this blue line at 11:11 this morning. Okay? This appears to be just a 2.0 earthquake. But again, they cut off the top and they cut off the bottom of this seismic sequence. This probably was a 3.0 earthquake. Small earthquake. But again, they don't want anybody to see what happened. Not. But what about this event that happened after that on this red line? This red line would be 11:15 on the left-hand side. We come over here. About 11:10 this morning. 11:10 this morning. A 3.3 earthquake here. This earthquake lasts about a second or two. Why are they showing this earthquake here and not showing the other seismic disturbances? Because this possibly only lasted a few seconds? That's a good enough reason for me. But they're showing it here on the seismogram, and they're not showing it on the map. Seismic events are happening here in Washington. This is happening on the eastern side of the Cascadia subduction zone. This is happening in the Puget Sound area. This is happening just east of Vancouver Island. I'm telling you guys, there's something wrong with this. There's something very wrong. And I'm going to show you other islands here, and then we're going to show what is happening on the data sheet showing you all the tremors, the tremor map showing you all the tremors here in the 2-state area, including Vancouver Island. And I think you're going to be amazed at what we're going to show you. Let me show you, we should use Hidalgo Island here. I want to show you now Grays Harbor. Look at this. We're showing you a bunch of tremors here except at the very bottom. The very bottom is where all the earthquakes are today. All the rest of this is tremors. Come down here to the bottom. This black line on the left-hand side is 2 p.m. After 2:05 p.m. this afternoon, 3.0 earthquake. 3:05, 3.3, 3.4 earthquake. We have a bunch of minor earthquakes after that. This is at 2:10. 2:10 p.m. we have a 2.8 earthquake, minor earthquake. 2:13 we have a 2.6, 2.7 earthquake. 2.5 earthquake just about 30 seconds later. 15 seconds later at 2:14, another 2.7 earthquake, minor earthquake. After that we have tremors. None of this information even shows up on the map, does it? Not at all. Not at all. This is Grays Harbor. Grays Harbor. Let me show you another one here. Let's show you Guaymas Island. Guaymas Island. This is all in northwestern Washington. Northwestern Washington. Up at the top here, we see a bunch of tremors. This is last night after 5 p.m. Actually, after 5 p.m. 1700 on the left is 5 p.m. We drop down here to this black line. This black line is the first evidence of any real earthquakes. Yes, we had tremors there. Any real earthquakes over a 2.5 minor earthquake. On this black line here. Over on the left-hand side it will be 8 p.m. Over here it's about 8:10 p.m. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. On the red line at approximately 9:15 on the left-hand side, we see tremor after tremor. We go over here to about 9:13 p.m. we have a 3.0 earthquake. Why is this not showing? Why is this not showing? I showed you all the data over here in this area just a few minutes ago on the map. They're not showing it. They're not showing you tremors at all. Look what happened later on this morning and this afternoon. All kinds of tremors here. All kinds of tremors here. Why are they not showing you the data on the map? Heaven forbid they let the public know what's going on. Heaven forbid they let the public know what's really going on here. They're not going to. They're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell any of us. They're going to let an event happen. They're going to allow an earthquake event to happen. Then they're going to tell us about it when the major event happens and somebody gets hurt or killed. Let's go over to Lopez Island, Washington. Look at the tremors and minor earthquakes happening here. Unreal, huh? Unreal. So you see what's going on. There is plenty of activity here. A ton of activity. Let me show another island here. Let me show you Lumi Island. Here we have a 3.0 earthquake that happened out here after 2:15 this morning. 3.0 earthquake here at Lumi Island this morning. And yes, you see a bunch of tremors here as well. This is all northern Washington, guys. All of this is in northern Washington. Let me show you the coastline where the law enforcement unit for the Fish and Game Department is in Washington. Look at this. Here you see over 100 events happening here. Yes, these are all tremors here. All of this is tremors here in northern Washington, along the coastline. Along the coastline of Washington. Why are they not showing this? Why are they not showing it? We all deserve to know. Pacific Northwest Seismic Network, why are you not allowing USGS to show this? Or is it just USGS that's not going to show it? USGS has access to these files. Management has access to these files. The politicians here in this country don't want this information to get out. Because if the public saw this, they would be moving away from the area, knowing what's going on. Let me show you Nassau, Washington again along the coastline. Look at this. Nassau, Washington is along the coastline, ladies and gentlemen. Yet we're seeing thicker lines here. This is magma coming off the Pacific Ocean headed for one of the volcanoes. Thicker and thinner lines. Magma pulse signals. Magma pulse signals. This is like hydraulic fluid flowing through the magma chambers here beneath our ground, headed for the volcanoes. One of my dear friends that I have a lot of contact with every year used to live here. I believe now he's living in North Dakota with his sister. He has cancer. He doesn't want his name put out because he had a channel here on YouTube. He's afraid that they took his channel down because he was talking about these kind of incidents. He's a hydrologist. He worked with oil and water. He knows what the pumping sounds are like. He's experienced it. When he's been out lying on the ground at night, in the middle of the night, he hears pumping sounds beneath the ground. That is because there's magma beneath the ground pumping through the magma channels in the ground headed for the volcanoes. Sounds like hydraulic fluid, except it's magma. Okay? He's talked to me about it on more than one occasion. And he showed me data to prove it. This is happening. It's happening all the time. All the time, guys. Before I show you the map, I want to show you this. This is Orcas Island. This is Orcas Island near Friday Harbor. About a week or so ago, we had a 5.0 earthquake up here at Friday Harbor, Washington. One of our friends called us here from there. She said her and her husband felt their house shake, like a great big huge truck ran into it. That's what the earthquake felt like. Felt like their house got crashed into. And then their house bobbed up and down. The shaking. Look what's happening here. These are earthquakes, guys. These are earthquakes. Last night, on this black line here. This black line over on the left-hand side is 8 p.m. Over here, 8:12 p.m. last night. 3.0 earthquake. 3.0 earthquake. And after that, 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. Yes, we're having 2.0s and other tremors here. 2.0s, minor earthquakes. The smaller vertical lines are all tremors. Look what happened this morning. Look what happened this morning. 8:03 a.m. 2.2 earthquake. Over here on the blue line, 9:30, 9:03, 2.0 earthquake. 9:05, 2.0, 2.2 earthquake. We have a bunch of tremors here. Then I drop down here to 12 noon here on the left-hand side. Just after 12:05 p.m. this afternoon. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. You see it here. You see it here. This is up near Friday Harbor. Friday Harbor. The science exists here. They are just not showing us the data. They are not showing us the data. Let me show you the tremor map. This will blow your mind. This is going to blow your mind. Look at this. Let's go over here to Vancouver Island. Look at this. They're not showing us any tremors. Not showing us any tremors at all. Friday Harbor, Loomy Island, Orcas Island. They're not showing us any earthquakes around the Washington Law Enforcement Unit for the Fish and Game. Nothing. They're showing us tremors up here in the center part of Vancouver Island. They're showing us tremors up here in the Vancouver Island area here. The central part of the Vancouver Island and over here near where Terry Rumpel lives. These are where the tremors are. Yet they're not showing anything else. I just got through showing you the data here. I just got through proving that there's other seismic activity happening. And yet they're not showing it to us. They're not showing us anything in Washington or Oregon at all. Nothing until we get down here to Southern Oregon. This is all west of Medford, Oregon. Southern Oregon. Why not? Inquiring minds want to know why not. I think we deserve to know. I think we deserve to know why not. There's no excuse for it, guys. There is no excuse for it at all. Not at all. I'm asking why not? Why are they lying to us all? I just showed you on this tremor map. There are 138 tremors here. 138 tremors. Most of these tremors are not here in Southern Oregon. Most of these tremors are up here on Vancouver Island. 138 of them. Unreal. Why are they not showing us the rest of this? We should know. We need to know. I'm going to write a letter tomorrow morning to the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network, and I'm going to call them and ask them why they are lying to the public. I want answers. I don't want to be told by USBS, because they've lied to all of us. They've lied to my face. They've lied to my ear. Yes, I have had face-to-face interviews with them. They lied to me. I want to know right now why the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network is not showing you this information. Because they're not. I have to show it. I have to show it. Shirley is saying they're not showing earthquakes along the Aleutian Islands. Yes, they are. They're showing us some tremors. They're showing us some tremors. But even then, they're not showing us all the data. They're not showing us all the data. Let's jump down here to Glacier Peak. Look what's happening here at Glacier Peak. Let me reduce the size of this seismogram here. I had to show you this tremor map, and that's why it got so big. I should reduce the size of that tremor map, and this one would have been fine. This is Glacier Peak. There is one seismograph monitoring this volcano. And they're still not showing us the data here. All they are showing us are tremors here and one minor earthquake this afternoon. That's all they're showing us. Let me show you another seismogram from Glacier Peak. Unreal. This is the HHN channel of this seismograph. This is a 3-channel seismograph. It's showing us 2 channels where we can get earthquake information about this volcano. One channel doesn't show us anything. I switched to the other one I just got through showing you. It actually shows tremors and maybe one minor earthquake. This channel shows us all of the magma coming into Glacier Peak. Each and every one of these wavy lines shows us magma. But the most active wavy lines here show a lot of magma. One showing a lot of magma last night. But look at the bottom of this seismogram here. Actually 2/3 of this seismogram are showing a lot of magma coming into the magma chamber. Why are we not showing good-sized earthquakes at Glacier Peak? They're not showing it. They don't want to be truthful about anything. All these wavy lines indicate here are magma coming into the magma chamber. When that happens, magma coming into the volcanic chamber fractures rocks, causing earthquakes. That's what we should be seeing on the seismograms, but they're not showing it. Magma coming into the magma chamber of these volcanoes causes rock fracturing, causing earth movement. We should be seeing that. And yet we're not. We're not. How about Mount Rainier? Let's go look at Mount Rainier now. We don't have much time. I'm going to rush through this now. I took a lot of time showing you earthquakes around the world. Let's take a look at Camp Muir. Camp Muir is on the south side of Mount Rainier near the summit of the volcano. Look at this. They're not showing us everything that's going on here at Mount Rainier at all. They're showing us some tremors for the most part. But that's just about all. They are showing us one earthquake here towards the bottom. One decent sized earthquake here towards the bottom. That earthquake happened at approximately 13. It happened about 1:11 p.m. this afternoon. You just barely see it here on the black line. You see the bottom part of the seismogram causing an earthquake, recording the earthquake. You don't see the top. This was at least a 3.0 earthquake here at Mount Rainier. A 3.0 earthquake here at Mount Rainier. Let me show you a seismogram showing you all the magma coming in here to Mount Rainier. This is going to blow your mind. This is going to blow your mind. Look at this. Look at all this magma coming into Mount Rainier. Why are they not showing us earthquakes? They know what's going on. Mount Rainier is having 3.0 earthquakes all the time. Several 3.0 earthquakes every day. 3.0 earthquakes are small quakes. I believe USGS is also hiding the information. Judging by this magma churn, these magma signals right here. Mount Rainier is not just having small earthquakes, but moderate earthquakes as well. Every day. We see it at other volcanoes. Why they're not shown here? Because massive amounts of population live here. This is an urban center. Millions of people here. When Mount Rainier erupts, it's going to erupt with a fury. It's going to cause a cataclysmic explosion. There is a bulge on the north side of Mount Rainier. We've had many people tell us about it. At some point in time, Mount Rainier is going to erupt with fury. A lot of the town of Seattle and urban areas are built on a bunch of ash that's hardened. That's where the homes are built. Do you think something's going to happen? Yes. Yes, it's going to happen. It's a matter of time. The same thing is going to happen at Mount St. Helens. I promise you that. Let me show you East Dome Mount St. Helens. This seismogram comes from a seismograph that's sitting up on top of the summit, Mount St. Helens. This is East Dome Mount St. Helens. Look here. This seismogram is showing us all the tremors that are happening here. It's showing us some of the earthquakes as well. But look at this. This is almost constant, consistent tremor activity. Yes, there is some alleviation of some of the stress here. But a majority of the time today at least, this is constant and consistent tremor activity. And there's at least one earthquake here that is bigger than the others. You can see here. This earthquake happened last night after 9:15. About 9:07 p.m. last night. About 9:23 last night. This was a 3.0 earthquake. 3.0 earthquake here at Mount St. Helens. Yes, it happened. With all the rest of this activity, it backs it up. There's a lot of activity at Mount St. Helens. Promise you that. Let me show you another one here. This seismogram is also going to blow your mind. This is September lobe. This seismograph also sits on the top of Mount St. Helens on spindly legs. Look at the VLF waves here. These VLF waves stand in completely objective positions with the seismograph, except the seismograph is not showing all the earthquakes happening. Yes, it is showing us tremor activity. But with these seismic waves here, we should be seeing full-blown earthquakes, meaning the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network is erasing the activity. The PNSN is erasing the activity, not allowing it to be shown. Yes, they're showing us tremors, but this activity right here on the seismogram proves there should be earthquakes here. With this kind of magma activity coming into the magma chamber, the magma should be fracturing rock, causing earthquakes, not just tremors. Not just tremors. Fact. Fact. Seismograms don't lie. Seismograms don't lie unless the agency has been deleting activity on the seismogram. And yes, the agencies do that as well. They constantly erase data. They constantly and consistently erase data. And that's what they're doing here. There are at least 2 volcanoes here, Mount Rainier and Mount St. Helens, that are getting ready to erupt. I just showed you over at Mount Baker. A lot of magma activity there. I also showed you Glacier Peak. A lot of magma activity there. I showed you Mount Rainier and Mount St. Helens. There's a ton of activity there. Let me show you Timberline at Mount Hood. Look at this. Again, on the USGS map, they are not showing us any activity whatsoever in the way of earthquakes or tremors. Nothing happening tonight at all at Mount Hood on the USGS map. Well, look what they're showing us here. Last night, after 5 p.m., look what happened here. Prior to that also, on the red line, which is the 15-minute line, about 1507, 1508, we had a bunch of tremors leading up to minor earthquakes. 2.0, 2.3 earthquakes. And the blue line here, which is 5:30 p.m. over on the left-hand side. This would be 5:45 p.m. here. 2.3, 2.4 earthquakes, at least. And like I said, here at 6 p.m. here on the black line, 6 p.m. here on the black line, we're seeing at least a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake, possibly even a 3.0. And they're not letting us see everything. This is showing us a mammoth amount of energy here that happened here at Mount Hood. This is on the southern side of Mount Hood, Government Camp. The seismograph is located at Government Camp on the south lower side of Mount Hood. Look at this. This is evidence that Mount Hood is very active. Yet they're not showing us. Even today, here on the blue line over in the center here, center right, we're seeing activity. A lot of activity. Possibly even a 3.0 earthquake. This morning. 10:30, 10:40 this morning. They're not showing us. Why not? Renee Steffi says she's going to bed, doesn't feel good. Renee, I hope you feel better tomorrow. God bless you. Be safe. We'll be praying for you. We'll be praying for you. Folks, this is undeniable fact information. This is factual. What they are doing is not factual at all. They are omitting data. They are lying through their teeth. One more. Let's go over south of there to Bachelor. Look at this. For several years, until this year, for several years, they turned off the seismograph at Mount Bachelor. Look at this. Look at this. Last night, the top of this seismograph is showing 5 p.m. on the left. For 4 hours here. 4 hours last night. Constant tremor activity. Constant, consistent tremor activity. Look at the rest of the seismogram as well. Mount Bachelor is moving. It's moving in a big way. For several years we didn't see it because they took it down. Because we were talking about it. Emergency Management Associates was talking about it. We were showing you the data. Then they turned the seismograph off. We know what's happening. We darn well know what's happening. This and other volcanoes all over Washington and Oregon. They have turned off the seismographs at Crater Lake. They've turned off the seismographs at Crater Lake. There's no data available. They turn them off. That's what this agency does when they don't want to admit any information. They turn it off. They do it all the time. I've seen it. I've seen it, ladies and gentlemen. It's sad. It's sad. If it wasn't so flagrant, I wouldn't cause such a scene. But they are continuing to get rid of it. They are continuing to get rid of it. Incredible. Incredible. Do any of you have any questions about anything we've shown you tonight? I've gone through it fairly fast, very thoroughly. I want to show it to you because there's a lot of actual incidents in the Pacific Northwest. It's not just weather that you guys had last night or even last weekend. It's continuing. Pico is asking, is there a tsunami coming anywhere? No. There is no information at all showing any kind of tsunami. We have to have at least a 6.5 earthquake. A 6.5 very strong earthquake, and there are none of those around anywhere around the globe. Nowhere. We have had 4.6 earthquakes in the Dokanese Islands, around Santorini and Amorgos Islands. That's again because of magma activity over in that area of the Aegean Sea. Those earthquakes have been happening off and on all day long. The Dokanese Islands belong to the Greek government. We are going to have a volcanic eruption in the Dokanese Islands probably within the next 6 months. Maybe earlier than that. We may have a volcanic eruption over in southwestern Italy because the volcano is showing signs of it. A lot of activity. It's happening. It's happening. Does anybody have any questions for me? Demon Cabin says another 5.6 Mid-Atlantic Central Ridge. Yeah. That's because of all the earthquakes down the South Sandwich Islands. The seismic energy is moving north. Yesterday I showed you a lot of activity over in Iceland. I even told you about a good-sized minor earthquake happened in Wales yesterday. A 2.7 minor earthquake in Wales. You don't often see that. Demon Catman says you can also join Emergency Management Associates here as a member. Down below this video in the top of our program description, there is a link to join Emergency Management Associates here as a member here on YouTube. Tomorrow morning about 10 a.m. in the morning, I'm going to get my sorry butt out of bed we're going to come on this program as a member. Those of you who are members will see it. Yes, we are going to talk about pertinent information. We're going to have some fun as well. So please join us about 10 a.m. Eastern Time. That will be 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Or not 8 a.m. Eastern. It will be 8 a.m. in the Mountain District. Utah, Idaho, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona. It'll be 7 a.m. over on the Pacific Coast. For you hardy souls that are up at 7 a.m. I hope you can join us. It'll be a lot of fun. Tomorrow night is Friday. Tomorrow night we're going to talk about emergency preparedness. Be prepared to talk about emergency preparedness and be prepared to ask questions. I'll be happy to take any questions about any emergency preparedness idea that you might have. We just had a 6.1 strong earthquake in the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, the central Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Let me get my device out here and show you where that earthquake happened. 6.1 in the central Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Right between Northern Africa and South America, right there. 6.1 earthquake just now. 6.1 earthquake here in the central Mid-Atlantic. Seismic energy is happening, isn't it? It's happening. Again, there is a minor earthquake over here in the Canary Islands. This is a 2.3 earthquake in the Canary Islands here. Seismic energy is moving there. It's moving over here in the Azores Islands here. This is just north and west of the Strait of Gibraltar. This is a 1.7 tremor here. Just south of the Portugal and Spain area here. Azores Islands here. Okay? West of Portugal here. This is out in the Atlantic. This is a 3.2 earthquake here. This is just west of Portugal here in the Atlantic Ocean. A 3.2 small earthquake. Crazy. Now let's go over, just for kicks and giggles, let's go over to Norway and Sweden. When I lived there in the 70s, guess what? I didn't feel any activity. There was no reported activity in Norway or Sweden. Over here in western Norway, Bethel, Norway. This is a 1.4 tremor here. South central Norway, Buskerud, Norway. Buskerud, Norway. This is a 1.6 tremor here. Let's go over to Sweden. Let's go over to Sweden. This is Västra Jutland, Sweden. This is Trollhättan, Sweden. Trollhättan, Sweden. This is a 1.1 tremor here in Trollhättan, Sweden. One more earthquake here. This is over by, actually this is north of Stockholm. Northwest of Stockholm. Gävleborg area of Stockholm. North of Stockholm. This is a 1.5 tremor. Gävle is a town just north of Stockholm. This is a 1.5 tremor here. Earthquakes happening in Norway and Sweden. We're seeing it. We're seeing it. Look at all the earthquakes in the Alps Mountains in Italy. Alps Mountains in Italy. I told you there's a lot of earthquakes there. There are. Let's go over here to Greece. Look at all the earthquakes here in Greece. 20 plus earthquakes here in Greece. Look at the earthquakes here in the Aegean Sea and Western Turkey. All kinds of earthquakes, huh? I keep telling you about all the earthquakes over here in eastern Turkey, Syria border region. Aftershocks of that 9.0, 10.0 earthquake that happened here 2+ years ago. February 3rd, 2023. 9.0, 10.0 earthquake, and now we're having aftershocks. That's what all these earthquakes are. Aftershocks of that major earthquake then. Unreal. Folks, this is Georgia, the Soviet state of Georgia. This earthquake is a 3.0 earthquake here. Soviet Georgia, 3.0 earthquake here. Northern Iran, 3.5 in northern Iran here. I'm near the Caspian Sea. Afghanistan, 3.5. Northeast of there, Badakhshan, Afghanistan, 4.0. North of there, this is where we get into a larger quake, Kazakhstan. This is that 5.2 that happened near the beginning of the program. Large 5.2 earthquake here, Kazakhstan. And with it, an aftershock. This is a 3.5 aftershock. Kazakhstan. They're not showing any in Russia or China. That's because they don't like to share information. It's insane. Again, they have a lot more earthquakes here in Indonesia that they're not showing. And the EMSC is also not showing the earthquakes. There are earthquakes, a lot of them there. And over in northern Australia, north central Australia, this is a 3.0 here in Wangamungu, Australia. A 3.0 earthquake here, northern Australia. You're not going to see that on the USGS map. That'll never happen. Not going to show you. Solomon Islands, we've had another 5.0 earthquake. 5.0 earthquake here in the Solomon Islands. I told you about all the earthquakes here in New Zealand. USGS shows us none. Incredible. Any questions? Central America, look at this. Over here in southern South America, not showing half the earthquakes here. They were showing us plenty earlier. They shut them down. We appreciate you all being here. I've shown you pretty much around the world now. Any questions? I've kind of given you a summary of what's going on. All right, if there's no questions here, I want to leave you with a scripture. I usually leave you with a devotional, which I've been trying to do for the past few years. I've not always been successful every night, but I've been here most of the time. I want to go over to 1 Corinthians. I'm going to go over into chapter 7. This time, I'm going to go over to verses 6, 7, 8, and 9. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verses 6, 7, 8, 9. But I speak this by permission, and not of commandment. For I would that all men were even as I am myself. But every man hath his proper gift of God. One after this manner, another after that. I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I. But if they cannot abide, they cannot contain, let them marry. For it is better for them to marry than to burn. Going over verse 10, 11. And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord. Let not the wife depart from her husband. But if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband. And let not the husband put away his wife. Plain and simple. Commandments. Wives, take care of your husbands, and husbands, take care of your wives. Obey the commandments. Obey the commandments. Brothers and sisters, I know the gospel of Jesus Christ is true. Yes, I've been a missionary. Yes, I've been teaching the gospel most of my life. I have a testimony of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I know it's true. I know that Jesus Christ lives. He's our Redeemer. He's our King. He's our Savior. In the coming month, we're going to celebrate Easter. During this next 30 days, actually about 20 days, I'm going to concentrate on the Savior. I'm going to talk about his birth, his life and mission, and also his death and resurrection. Please stay here for that. Please remain here with this channel for that. I'm going to spend plenty of time talking about our Savior Jesus Christ. Please, folks, if you will, before you leave, give us a thumbs up. Let YouTube know that you appreciate this channel. Please also subscribe to this channel. If you're here and you subscribe to this channel, make sure you're still subscribed, because YouTube keeps unsubscribing people. If you're not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to this channel. When you do, there's also a little tiny bell icon. Click on that little bell icon. When you click on that bell icon, there'll be a drop-down menu of 3 items. Click on the word ALL, all. That should get you notified when we come on this program. We'd appreciate that. Please also help us maintain this channel. Go over to our PayPal. Okay? All night long, the mods have been putting up our PayPal locations. Send us a donation. We need to keep this channel going. We spend several $100s a month broadcasting this channel, trying to keep you informed of what's going on around your neck of the woods and around the world, and preaching the gospel to you. We'd appreciate that very much. Also, our address is here going across the bottom of your screen. 504 Bethel Road, Box 401, Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. If you have any comments or suggestions, send them to our email address, rltnspdema @gmail.com. Again, tomorrow we're going to be talking about emergency preparedness. Please be here to help us and give us suggestions and ideas what you want answers to. And I will be happy to help you. I will be more than happy to help you. When you watch our programs, please watch the entire program. YouTube looks at the minutes that you guys will watch this program. They use it as an analytical factor to determine if they will let anybody here on YouTube watch our channel. Please subscribe to this channel. We have 6,429 subscribers right now. We had 6,440 subscribers 2 weeks ago. They keep unsubscribing 12 people almost every week. Please subscribe to our channel, guys. Please donate to keep us on the air. We'd appreciate it. God be with you guys. We appreciate you very much. If anything else happens tonight, we'll be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Until then, guys, have a good night. Have a good night. We'll be back on the air tomorrow evening, same time, same bat station, between 6 and 7 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Good night, everybody. Take care. God bless. Enjoy. Bye-bye.